Hello everyone, welcome back, and I hope everyone is doing good and is preparing well for the board exams. It is very near, only like very few days are left. You can count on your fingers, right? So all the best, keep doing your hard work, and the hard work will always pay off. Okay, so saying that, we will be starting with the last chapter of biology for the series of competency based questions. That is, we'll be doing the chapter how do organisms reproduce. We have already done the remaining chapters. Those who have still not gone to those videos of mine, you can go back and check in the description link. You'll get all the series of competency based questions both in biology as well as chemistry. Okay, so you can go and have a look there. So we'll be doing the first question here. So that is assertion reasoning. Okay, so here the assertion is given as plants that can reproduce asexually cannot reproduce sexually. Okay, so they are saying those plants which can reproduce asexually cannot reproduce sexually. Okay, then reason they have given, asexual reproduction does not involve the production of gametes. So you have to say which of these four options are true, correct, and you have to and you see here. So if you see the assertion here, plants that can reproduce asexually cannot reproduce sexually. So is it true? First you check this one. Okay, so if you see here, some plants have, it is not necessary that those plants that undergo asexual reproduction cannot go sexual reproduction. Okay, there are plants which plants can be done reproduced asexually also and sexually also. Okay, for example, if you are going for vegetative propagation, okay, so that is, you are going for asexual reproduction, and if you are going through the flowers, that is sexual reproduction. Okay, so the assertion is false. Now reason they are given, asexual reproduction does not involve the production of gametes. So if you see here, asexual reproduction, we do not have there is no involvement of the gametes because only one single parent is involved, right? So that means this statement is true. So A is false, R is true. Okay, so this should be the correct answer. Okay, let's do the next one. Okay, this is a case-based question. Bindu wants to produce a hybrid variety of tomatoes. She has tomato plants X and Y belonging to two different varieties, one with smooth long fruits. Okay, so she has taken two varieties, one is with smooth long fruits and the other one with wrinkled round fruits. Tomatoes have bisexual flowers. Okay, so bisexual means both male and female flowers are present. Okay, male and female gametes part is present in the same flower. Bindu carries out the following steps carefully to cross-pollinate the flowers of plants X and Y. Okay, so she has taken one plant with smooth long fruit, another tomato plant with wrinkled round fruit, and the tomatoes are bisexual flowers. She removes a part of the flower of tomato plant X just before the flowers bloom. Okay, so either she has removed the male part or the female part from tomato plant X. Okay, then she manually pollinates the flower of tomato plant X using pollens from the flowers of tomato plant Y. So that means from the plant Y, she has taken the pollens. That means from the anther, she has taken from the male part, that she has taken the pollens and she has put it over the plant X. So that means what she has removed in plant X, that means the male part, because she is using the pollens from plant Y. So that means she needs a female part. So that female part, she has kept it in plant X. Okay. She ties small plastic bags around the pollinated flowers of tomato plant X. Now after putting the pollens, she has put a plastic bag around that pollinated flowers of plant X. The plastic bags are removed after a couple of days. What could be the reason for covering the pollinated flowers of plant X? So this is nothing but like this is related to pollination. So if she is covering the plastic bag, that means she doesn't want any other pollens to contaminate the flowers of the plant X. Okay, so that is the only answer you have to write. So to prevent pollens from other plants from reaching the stigma of plant X. Okay, next one. Water hyacinth reproduce both sexually and asexually. See, you can give this example also in the first question in assertion reasoning we have seen. So this is another one. Water hyacinth, they can be reproduced sexually also, asexually also. Okay, they reproduce sexually by producing seeds through flowers and asexually by bud formation or fragmentation. So through bud formation or fragmentation, the water hyacinth can reproduce asexually. Okay, it undergoes reproduction through either of the methods depending on environmental conditions. So based on the environmental condition, so it can undergo asexual or sexual reproduction. Water hyacinth bloom freely in water-rich conditions, whereas reproduction for survival is more effort-intensive in water-scarce condition. Okay, so they have given you a hint here. So when they, so you, I hope everyone knows water hyacinths, right? So they grow in water. So if their if water content is more, that means the water hyacinth will bloom. That means flowers will be there, right? So it will be grow rapidly. But if there is water, so it depends on the amount of water present there. Okay, so if there is scarcity of water, okay, that time the reproduction is only for survival. Okay, so it is effort intensive. That means, yeah, there is something energy is required to conserve the energy of the plant, right? So the question is, explain why this variation in reproduction is required in water hyacinth. Now since it can go so depending on the water condition, so the water hyacinth, they have asked, so why there is variation in reproduction, why not only sexual or why not only asexual. Okay, so always remember, variation, it is an indirect question, so it is nothing but we are talking about variation. Okay, so why variation is necessary in reproduction, this is a question that keeps on coming. So in either so this is not direct question, it is an indirect question. So of course variations is required for the survival of the organisms, right? Then they have asked, which mode of reproduction is likely to occur in the following conditions? Justify. Abundance of water, whether it will be sexual or asexual. Okay, scarcity of water, it will be whether it will be sexual or asexual reproduction. They have asked that question. The abundance of water, that means there is no effort required by the plants, right? So there is availability of water, that means there is no like the plants, they don't have to waste energy or to put any effort, right? So that means they will undergo asexual reproduction. Scarcity of water, when it comes, that means the plant has to put effort, that means energy is required, that means it will try to survive, so that time they will go to the mode of sexual reproduction. Okay, so that's the answer for this. Okay, so this is the answer for the first one. So beyond the organism having variation ensures greater chance of survival through such changes. Okay, so if it is, so they can switch from one mode to another, that is from sexual or asexual, depending on the water condition they are facing. And this is the answer for the second one, number B. So asexual reproduction. So in natural environment, the organisms is likely to undergo an energy efficient method of reproduction such as asexual reproduction. And second one, when there is scarcity of water, it will be sexual reproduction. The reason is, in a stress environment, the organism is likely to offer effort intensive method for survival. Okay, so here the hint is already given here. Okay, so see here. Okay, so that's the answer for this question. Next one, compare the reproductive parts of flower and humans and answer the questions below. Okay, now you have to say, so you think of the reproductive part of flower and you think the reproductive part of human. Okay, male and female both. So based on that, you have to compare and tell what function will relate to which part. Okay, first question, which part of human female reproductive system? Okay, they are asked which part of human female reproductive system has a similar function as the stigma in a flower. Okay, I hope you remember the parts of a female reproductive system and the stigma of a flower. So which human female part you will compare with the stigma in a flower? I hope you know what is stigma, what is style, what is ovary, right? So what will you say? So this is stigma, this is style, this is ovary, right? The upper part is stigma. So what is happening in stigma? First you should know the function. So pollen grains, they receive the pollen grains. That means here what we are talking, so human female reproductive organ, right? The female reproductive organ. So here if you see, so what is happening here? So they have asked, so that means they are asking, so related to that, which function will you relate to the female reproductive? That means here the receiving of the pollens, that means they are in case of female reproductive part, that means receiving of the semen. So entry of the pollens is occurs in the stigma, right? So the stigma receives the pollens and then it will enter the style. and then to the ovary. That means here, that means entry part they are asking. So entry part of the semen or the sperm will be where? It will be in the cervix or the vagina of the human reproductive organ. Okay, so that will be the answer for the first part. So you have to relate the functions of both and then you can answer it. Okay. Second one, testes in the male reproductive system would correspond to which part of the male reproductive system in a flower? Justify. Okay. Always give the reason to, or justify. Even they don't ask, just justify it. Okay. Even if it is for 1 mark, you need to say why it is happening. So here they have given testes in the male reproductive system would correspond to which part of the male reproductive system in a flower. So now they have given the part from the human reproductive, that is male, that is testes. So what is the role of testes? So testes, they produce what? The sperms, right? So here, which part of the male reproductive system in a flower? So flowers, which flower means male part means we are talking about the anther, right? Testes, here testes. So so testes produces sperms, anther produces the pollen, right? So that will be the answer for this question. So produces male gametes in the form of pollen, just like testes which produces sperm. Okay, so answer is anther. Third one, the style of a flower. Okay, so that means this part. And the fallopian tube in humans. So this is a fallopian tube, right? In humans corresponds functionally with each other. Is this statement true? Justify your answer. The style of the flower and the fallopian tubes, are the functions same, they are asking. Okay, and if yes, then why? If no, then why? Okay, so fallopian tubes and the style, they are not, functions are not the same. Okay, so the answer will be false. Now why it is there, why it is false? The reason is in fallopian tubes, that is the site where fertilization occurs. Okay, so this question also comes. So fertilization occurs in the fallopian tubes where the sperm and the egg meets. Okay, but in style, the fertilization does not occur. Fertilization occurs only in the ovule or the ovary part of the flower. So that means style and the fallopian tube functions are not the same. Okay. Next one, contraceptives help in preventing pregnancies. Okay, this is about the contraceptive methods. What function would a contraceptive loop inserted at T serves? Okay, so there are different contraceptive methods. So now they are talking about the contraceptive loop inserted at T cell. So what is the function of the contraceptive loop that is inserted at T? So what is the purpose? Number A, stopping sperms from reaching and fertilizing eggs. Option B, stopping release of sperm. Option C, blocking the release of eggs. Option D, stopping egg creation. Now first you should know where contraceptive loop is used by male or the female. So it is used by the female, right? So female in the cervix. So that means what? That means we have something related to sperms, that entry of sperms. So it will be stopping sperms from reaching and fertilizing eggs. Okay, so that will be the correct answer. Stopping release of sperms, it cannot be because it is from the male. So it is we are talking about female. So it will be option A, not B. Okay. Next one, again assertion and reasoning. An organism with 24 chromosomes undergoes binary fission to give rise to daughter cells with 12 chromosomes each. Okay, so assertion is given, an organism is present which has 24 chromosomes, then it undergoes binary fission and is giving 12 chromosomes. Reason, binary fission give rise to 2 identical daughter cells. Okay, now you see whether it is correct or wrong. First statement you check. Now there earlier it was 24, now 12. So will it be binary fission means asexual reproduction. So asexual reproduction, if you see, you cannot have 12 chromosomes. It gives equal number of chromosomes are present. Okay, if it is 24, then 24 chromosomes are seen in the daughter cells. But here it is half always, that is always in, so that is wrong. Okay. The binary fission give rise to 2 identical daughter cells. Yes, this is correct. So A is false, R is true. Okay, so this option D will be the correct answer. Next one, a certain class of herbicides. Okay, what are herbicides? Herbicides, those plants, to kill the weeds. Okay, the plants, unwanted plants that grow in the field. So we use herbicides to kill them. Does not allow pollen tube formation. Okay, so a certain class of herbicides does not allow pollen tube formation. which of the following process does it inhibit? Okay, so if there are certain herbicides which will not allow the growth of pollen tubes. Now you have to say out of this which will stop it. Following process does it inhibit. So which process will it stop for the pollen tube to grow? Option A, cross pollination, self pollination, seed dispersal, fertilization. So here the answer will be fertilization. So if pollen tubes is mostly for the entry of the pollens to the ovary, right? So that means fertilization will stop the process of fertilization. Okay. Next one, state 2 points of similarities. Okay, you have to say 2 similarities between the process of reproduction in Hydra and Bryophyllum. So if you see Hydra and Bryophyllum, you know it is we are talking about these are so Bryophyllum, and there is this is also asexual reproduction we are talking about. In Hydra also we are talking about asexual reproduction. So you can say any 2 properties similarity between them. So one, you can say the offsprings are genetically identical. So always in asexual reproduction, the offsprings that are being produced, they are always similar to the parent, right? So they are genetically identical to parent. And of course it is asexual reproduction, so single parent is involved, no formation of gametes, or no 2 parents or male and female parents or gametes are involved in the process of asexual reproduction. Okay, so these 2 you can write it down. Next one, okay, this is a case-based question. Ajay took a stem cutting scion. Remember stalk and scion? Okay, cutting, grafting, those part. Okay, so Ajay took a stem cutting scion from a red rose plant and a stem stalk from a white rose plant. Okay, so scion and the stalk. Scion is the upper part and stalk is the lower part. So you can see here. Okay, so Ajay has taken one red rose plant, scion from the red rose plant, and stalk from a white rose plant. Okay, this is white, this is red. After cutting both stems, he arranged and tied them as shown below. Okay, this is how he has done. Name the type of asexual reproduction seen here. So you have to say, name the method. Okay, and what will be the color of the roses that will be produced in the new plant? So if you see the scion and the stalk, so whether it will be red or white, that is the question that is being asked. So first the type of asexual reproduction is vegetative propagation, right? That is grafting. And second one, what is the color of the roses? That will be red flowers. Okay, so because the scion is for the red color, so red rose plant, so it will be answer will get red color, red rose plant. Okay, red color will be the answer. Next one, again related to contraceptive methods. Vasectomy is a method of contraception in males where the vasa differentials are tied or sealed as to prevent sperm from entering the urethra. The diagram below represents the human female reproductive system with the some of the parts marked PQRST. Okay, so this is the female reproductive system, so it is marked as PQRST. Identify the label part that will be operated on for tubectomy in females. State its function. So from this we have to say which part will undergo tubectomy. Okay, so vasectomy is done in males, tubectomy is done in females. Tubectomy is the cutting of the fallopian tubes. Okay, the fallopian tubes are cut and sealed. So that means so which is the fallopian tube here? So this is the fallopian tube. So Q will be the correct answer. Okay, so this part will be the answer for this one. B. Kavya says if part R is removed, the female would not be able to produce eggs. Is she correct? Now where is R, you see? So this one. Okay, so Kavya is saying that if we remove R part, okay, R part, so whether the female would be able to produce eggs. So you have to know where the egg is produced. So so here we don't have the production of eggs. Eggs occurs here, production of eggs, right? So that means she is wrong. So so here the she is not correct. So eggs are produced in the ovaries and which are still intact. She has not cut the ovaries, she has cut only this part. Okay, the near the cervix. Okay, so in the uterus, ovaries are still there. So that's why her body, the female part will still produce the egg. And so here's the answer: the uterus does not play a role in producing eggs. So this is the uterus part, so that does not produce eggs. Eggs are produced in the ovaries, which are intact. Okay. Next one, walnut plants belong to a category of plants where the male and female flowers grow separately on the same plant. Okay, so walnut plants are flowers where male and female flowers are separate but in the same plant. A scientist took three plants P, Q, and R. He removed the male flowers from the plant P and female flowers from Q. Plant R he left as it is, that is both male and female flowers are there on the same plant. Okay, so three plants he has taken. In plant P the male flowers are removed, in plant Q the female flowers are removed, okay, and in plant R both are there. He kept all three in an open space. Will any of these plants bear fruits? Justify your answer. So out of these three, you have to say which plants will bear fruits. That means which plants now bear fruits. So that means how fruits are produced. That means sexual reproduction has to occur so that the fruits will be produced, right? So and sexual reproduction where it occurs where the flowers are present. That means where the female flower is present, right? So if you see here in plant Q, only the male flowers removed, the female flowers are still there, so plant P can be an option. In plant Q female flowers are removed, that means there are no female flowers to produce the seeds or the eggs or the fruits, so that means Q cannot be the answer. And what about plant R? So it has both male and female, so obviously female flowers are there, so he has not removed the female one, so R can also be the option. So P and R will be the correct answer. Okay. Plant P has female reproductive organs which can receive pollen as the fertilization can take place. Plant R has both the sexes of the same plant facilitating pollination and fertilization. So these are the justification of your answer. So this is the answer for this question. Okay, so that's all for today, and we have completed the competency based series in biology. So if you have any doubt, let me know in the comment box, and if you want to see any other video related to any chapter, let me know. I'll be doing it on those videos. I'll be sharing those videos as well. Okay, soon I'll be sharing some videos on important diagrams or important differences which are the most common ones or most probable ones that you might get in your board exam this year. Okay, so enjoy learning and have a good day everyone.